Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. Today I'm going to talk about how I never actually wanted to become a YouTuber anyway, and it just kind of accidentally happened, and the things that are hard about it, why I do think about quitting YouTube like every other day. And part of this was inspired by my friend this weekend asking me, like, oh, how does it feel to be like kind of famous? And I'm like, I hate it. Like, there wasn't even like a reaction. Like, do you like it? I was like, no. Like, I didn't even have to think about it. And it's sort of like, well, if I don't like it, then why am I doing this? Because, again, I'm still an American, and this is still a revenue source, and I want to buy a house. The end. Like, there's no other more complicated answer than that. Like, that's literally all it is. And that's, like, the very, like, utilitarian answer to that. Like, in terms of personal development, the Russian side of my channel is really helping me to be able to continue practicing Russian, even though I don't have the environment right now. So that is also utilitarian, but that's the thing that I do, like, not for money, because, you know, that's not really generating that much revenue, to be honest. So there's that. But, like, if there was not some sort of incentive, like getting a good grade or getting money, like, it would be hard for me to continue this as a hobby. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like, you know, I was taught from a young age that, like, all of my effort should be geared towards making money. That's just, like, how I was raised, and it's, like, a necessity thing, to be honest. Like, I've spent a lot of time on this channel talking about, like, how expensive things are, or I'm just, like, I have expensive hobbies, which are traveling, you know, so there's that. But the psychological answer as to why I don't really like being mini famous is because people who have been raised by critical parents apparently don't really like being the center of attention, because it makes them feel uncomfortable, like other people are going to criticize and judge them. When I remember one thing my grandmother said to somebody that I studied with in Finland, because he's like, oh, you know, you're probably thinking blah blah blah, and then she's like, no, I'm not. Like, and she's like, the reality is you never know what anybody's thinking, and most of the time people are not thinking as harsh of things as you really think that they're thinking. I think that's true 90% of the time. There are really hypercritical people, but then the other thing to keep in mind is sometimes those people just have really low self-worth, and, like, maybe you should just feel bad for them instead of criticizing the fact that they're criticizing you. So while I say that, it's very hard for me to take that advice myself. But I never really wanted to be a YouTuber. It just seemed that YouTube was the platform that started taking off. Originally, I really wanted to be an Instagrammer and be more of like a travel Instagrammer, but I think what started happening was the YouTube just picked up a lot faster, and I decided to just go with that. And then I had periods where it really ramped up, and then it's like playing the lottery, like anything, like, you know, this has only happened to me once, but, like, there's one day where I made like $100 in a day on YouTube, and it's like, that's pretty cool. I'm just waiting for that kind of payout again. So I think, like, yes, I definitely am on YouTube and, like, do this so regularly because it is another source of revenue. I'm not risky enough that I'm willing to dedicate more time, effort, energy, resources to YouTube to be making money at this point. Maybe at some point that will change, but right now I'm more so investing into my regular job and into my PhD and my other things, like my whole housing situation. Like, these are things that take up, like, way more of my energy than my YouTube channel. And I'd say one of the cool things I've gotten from my YouTube channel is I now have a student who I teach English to once a week, and he pays me, so that's cool. Like, I never thought I'd actually finally get to be an English teacher, even though I have a TESOL certification that I received back in 2020, so it's cool that I'm, like, finally using it, I guess. Yeah, to teach English as a second language. Stands for something like that. Yeah. So it just kind of happened. It wasn't really like I was trying. It just is something that sort of fell into my lap. And I started getting a lot of positive feedback. I started feeling a sense of obligation to my viewers that I have to keep this thing going, because I have a lot of people who these videos really help them or motivate them or encourage them or entertain them or whatever. Like, it's just, it seems to be an overall positive thing. And despite my own, like, inclination towards laziness and every day being like, I just don't feel like doing it today, I'm still doing it because sometimes I just feel really committed to the things that I start, and this is one of them. And I feel like, you know, I have this whole following, I have this audience, and apparently your YouTube followers or subscribers rather are very loyal to you, and so, like, I really just don't want to let people down. Like, that's what it comes down to. And, like, it is hard with all the you know, publicity is not the right word, but like I get a lot of attention, right? And attention has always made me uncomfortable. I've already normally in my regular life gotten a lot of attention, and now it's amplified times like 1,000. And I have to have, whereas normally I would feel like a sense of obligation, or I would feel bad like I had to answer everybody. At this point, I don't really feel that way, and I much more pick and choose who I want to interact with. And in some ways, this has probably been beneficial because it's helped me more with like boundary setting. Although I also don't know what level of empathy I really have available to me towards random strangers on the internet. And again, like I want to, be nice to everybody and like support my subscriber base and like, be nice. But at the same time, it's like a very difficult balance, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. So it's like, I do have like a real life and like real friends and real interactions with people that are based around the fact that I'm not a YouTuber. And it kind of feels like sometimes meeting people through the YouTube platform, while it's cool, it can also feel very disproportional in the sense that maybe people know a lot about me, but then getting to know them can be kind of hard. And then it almost feels like there's a power imbalance, but not really in terms of like that I have power because I'm a YouTuber. I mean, specifically in terms of that person has power over me in the sense that they know a lot about me in this interaction. I know nothing about them. So maybe it's sort of, again, like a safety thing I've already talked about here. And that's sort of what is driving my discomfort with these kinds of interactions, because it's like a lot of guessing and like having to play like intuition police within myself to be able to tell whether this person is like safe or dangerous. And I mean, I do really trust my intuition a lot at this point, because whenever I've not listened to it, I kicked myself, so I just use it more now because I'm older and wiser and have more experience, and quite frankly, I can. So yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like, being a YouTuber is hard because it's like, as somebody like me who it's like very sensory overwhelming to get all this attention also, and just like, there's just a lot going on. Like, in some ways, like I've explained, it's easier because there's not like a real person in front of me, so I can't see like people's facial reactions. I can't feel their energy responses, which like saves me a lot of energy bandwidth. But at the same time, it's just the volume of responses that I get. Like, while I very much appreciate the engagement, like it is a lot to be able to keep up with. And then of course there are always these comments that like strike a very sensitive chord with me if it's something that I feel insecure about, and then it's like something I have to face and I realize I still need to work on. Or sometimes I sit there and wonder, is it really something that you can ever work on, or do you just accept that it's like part of your challenges? So yeah, I think about quitting a lot just because I feel like a lot of times the return on investment, like dollar value time wise, is not really that great. But then I just try to look at it more as like a hobby, especially from the Russian side of things, because, people are commenting on saying how much my Russian's improved over the course of me having this channel, which is cool because I didn't really think I was at a level where my Russian could significantly improve at this point. But I think it is just like a lot. And as much as it's not like the biggest time commitment, it is still like a time and effort commitment. And now that I have this moving thing going on again, which is really stressing me out, like it's starting to feel more like I really have to cut corners here. Like I'm already like, okay, I'm no longer taking friend reservations. That sounds so stupid, but it's just like I'm tired and I like need a break, like, and it from everyone and everything. No, but like it's just there's a lot going on right now, so it's hard. It's really hard. And it just kind of is something that like happened, and I didn't try that hard, and sometimes maybe that means that it's something you should be doing. So yeah, I don't know. Although I always quote if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. So yeah, I think there are ways that I could enhance the channel, improve the channel, whatever, like keep working towards the channel. And I just look at this as a very long work in progress. And like anything, you get desensitized. Eventually, I'll become more desensitized to the comments that bother me. I already have overcome my stage fright kind of thing that I feel like was happening a lot more at the beginning of this channel. Like, if I look back at my very first videos, I look very rigid. Like, because I used to be like, oh, I have to stare at the camera the whole time. And now I'm like, no, I don't. That's not how I talk in real life. So I'm just going to talk how I talk in real life. Like, I don't really get like nervous recording these the same way I did at the beginning. It's just systematic desensitization for everything in your life. So Yeah, it's not really something I wanted to do. It's just something that happened that I fell into. And like recently, people on the Russian side have been being like, you should be an actress. And funnily enough, they're starting to cast probably at some point for like, there's going to be a Netflix where I live and like near where I live. And I'm like, maybe I could just go be an extra in something and like that would be cool. Like, I always wanted to be in something. So maybe, whatever. Like, not the main star, just like side character. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. And I'm also at this point where, like, so the other thing is, like, the traveling thing was supposed to be the thing, but I don't even talk about that. I just talk about whatever and answer, like, whatever questions, right? Or sometimes talk about Finnish culture, more cultural commentary, right? But it's hard because I've also gotten so jaded with the whole traveling thing, and I'm just at this point where I just want my life to be like boring and stable, which I never said me in my entire life, okay, except for now. Like, I'm just so wanting things to be like chill and boring, and I just need them to calm down. Never thought I'd say it, but it's like low-key sometimes I miss COVID, because that was like the only time my life ever felt like that. Obviously it was terrible, people died, and it was really bad for the economy, lots of bad things, but one thing that was not bad was me feeling overwhelmed. That was not what was happening. That was the complete opposite. So, I don't know. Be careful what you wish for, as I always say. Who knows? Probably have another pandemic at some point. That's why everybody keeps moving out of New York City and into New Jersey. I don't appreciate this because it's making it harder for me to buy a house, but there's that. So, I guess, yeah, that's going to be really everything for this video. Didn't want to be a YouTuber necessarily. Just kind of happened. And I stuck it out because I had the support of my fan base. So thank you to all of you viewers. And I know the English videos are less popular. But of course I can express myself better in English because it's my native language, so I still make them. Again, they're usually my warm-up videos. So now I'm going to go record the Russian one. But yes, until next time. Bye.